George is awake. It's 3 a.m. He's just finished another 6-hour session on Overwatch. He bought the game at GameStop after wanting it for so long. He fell in love with its competitive team-based style and strategies, especially compared to Call of Duty, which never really required much brain power anyways. Overwatch was a new hurdle to climb. The SR system was a totally new idea to George, and gave him a visible metric to see how good he was in comparison to other people. It began as a simple contest, to see if he could climb to beat his friend's SR score. He started in bronze at 1300 as a PS4 Tracer main, fighting to get better and better in order to rank up. He climbed into plat, switched to support, watched XQC day after day, and continued to strive to prove to himself that he was really good at Overwatch. And there's where the issue lied. He stopped playing to enjoy the game, but instead to prove something. He hated it, and for years he just played to get better and raise his SR, but the fun had been gone for a long time. He was addicted to Overwatch. Not the game, but the system. The constant need to prove to himself and others through a meaningless point system that he is good at some computer game, which had taken too much of his life. His free time dedicated to the game, time which he could spend getting fit, reading and studying for college courses, hanging out with friends in person, or working and earning money. Overwatch became a constant losing fight against himself, the toxic players, the throwers, the smurfs. George finally had enough and gave up. He uninstalled the game and moved on with his life. A few moments later, Overwatch 2. To the 60 million people who played the original, it's a free upgrade to a sensational game that promises steadier upgrades and new content. But this free upgrade comes at a cost. Activision Blizzard is releasing a Battle Pass monetization model for Overwatch 2, similar to games like Fortnite and Apex Legends. Now, Battle Passes, loot boxes, and other microtransactions are controversial, but after all the complaints from the public, they are still here. Why? Because they work. Every time a new season of Fortnite comes out, or another game that uses these types of transactions is released, the game experiences a massive number of players flocking to play. And who benefits? The company's pocketbooks. Games are no longer created to be bought one time, played and enjoyed for what they are. They're now made to keep the player playing and coming back and spending money. Don't believe me? Well, let's talk about Overwatch 2 beta. After the initial reveal of Overwatch 2 in 2019, some gamers got to experience the beta version of the game, and the majority of players ended up with the same response: complete disappointment. There wasn't much new content aside from a few new characters, one new game mode, and a couple new maps. Overwatch 2 beta felt like Overwatch 1, with a fresh coat of paint, but no actual depth beyond its surface. It might seem picky to analyze a beta version of the game, but in reality, the actual game was supposed to be released months after the beta, and usually beta versions of the game are still unique and somewhat polished representations of what the actual game is going to be like. Overwatch 2 beta was more like Overwatch 1.1, am I right? This seems to be a go-to strategy for many game companies nowadays. Make a few changes, add a new look, market the game as revolutionary, a must-buy pre-order, and then release a disappointing title full of microtransactions. Although many gamers are starting to notice, the majority of players are still hooked to the addictive nature of today's games, and game companies know this. Their aim is to study what keeps players gaming for long periods of time, what keeps them coming back, and what keeps them spending money. That allows them to spend less time and effort on creating really good games, and instead they focus on the addictive design nature of them because it's profitable. Overwatch 2 is created to be extremely engaging, fast-paced, and rewarding, just like its predecessor and most online multiplayer games nowadays. It's not, however, made to be enjoyed just for a few matches. Do you remember the mentioned Battle Pass system that Overwatch 2 will have? Well, here's how it works. For the first season of the game, the Battle Pass will have 80 tiers that players can unlock. That's already so ridiculous. Everybody can go up to 80 tiers, but only gamers who buy the Battle Pass Premium can unlock the rewards past the 20th tier. Premium Battle Pass owners will instantly unlock a new character and receive a 20% experience boost for the entire season. This pushes people to spend money on the Battle Pass as a way to get ahead of other players. Since the Premium Battle Pass costs $10, you might think that it's not a big deal, but Overwatch 2 lets players buy tiers by spending Overwatch coins, the in-game currency. This creates an opportunity for gamers to spend money to instantly unlock all the tiers, and for others to do the same, because players ultimately want to compete and try and be the best, and now they can purchase that opportunity. So how much will it cost to unlock the game? $158. yet the game's advertised as free to play. And that's how Overwatch 2 and other games use this type of monetization model. They hook you with the empty promises like long-term updates, fresh new content, and free stuff, while in reality it's a strategy made to get you hooked on the game, put time and money into it, and once you are emotionally invested, to keep spending. Blizzard has also made sure to make Overwatch 2 accessible to many more players. So instead of just competitive players, it's more accessible now to casual players, because that increases the amount of people who are playing the game and the number of people who are spending money. The only thing you could do is to either don't let yourself get hooked into the addictive nature and hype of Overwatch 2, or if you've already started playing, limit your time, be mindful of your budget, and don't get taken advantage of like George and so many others have in the past. But don't just take my word for it. This psychologist has a big warning about video games that you need to know. So watch this video now.